Hi, I'm John, and this is my video about React. So in this video, I'm going to be given a brief overview of React. We're going to be looking at what is React from a high level, looking at the key features, concepts, and differentiators with React, and then looking at some additional concepts. So first of all, what is React? Well, React is a popular open source JavaScript library, and this is originally developed and introduced by Facebook, and it continues to be maintained by Facebook as well as the community. And ultimately, this is a library used for building front-end applications, user interfaces, and particularly single-page applications. So this is for building our web front-end, our traditional HTML, CSS, JavaScript. This is the capability that React provides. And typically we'll connect our React application to a backend API, which may be on another framework such as .NET or Node.js or something else. So I mentioned a single page application. This is what React is focused around. And what is a single page application? Well, traditionally, when we develop websites and we have a website and the user navigates the links or the pages in our website, this would be loading full HTML pages each time. A single page application is where we have a single page for the website, and instead of reloading the page as the user navigates the site, we actually reload certain components as they're required and as the user interacts with the page. This can lead typically to a more fluid, faster and seamless user experience when compared to that more traditional approach of having full pages loading as the user navigates. So now I'm going to dive into some of the key features and concepts of React. So these are the standout features of React, most commonly mentioned, or some of the most common reasons that React maybe choose over an alternative. So the first one is a component-based architecture. And components of React are small, isolated, self-contained and reusable pieces of the UI. So when we look at a web page, we might have a nav bar, a table with content, buttons. So all of these can be defined in separate components, which we have full control over. And the benefit of this is that we can reuse these components throughout our application repeatedly. It reduces the amount of code that we need to write. If we write, for example, code for a table of content in one place and then write another table for content in a different place, and then we change the one, we're going to need to manually change all of them. We're going to have a lot of code, a lot of duplicate code. So component-based architecture and these application components can help reduce that. Each of these components manages its own state and logic, and immutable data can be passed down components using properties. So typically if we're using these components might be nested, so we might have the top level component, the app, and then a subcomponent, and then a subcomponent of that subcomponent. And what we can do is we can pass data down through these components that we need to see or use in those components. The next concept of React is using a virtual DOM. So React uses a lightweight copy of the DOM called the virtual DOM, and React first updates this virtual DOM and then efficiently updates the real DOM to match. And ultimately this is done to improve performance of the page to make it as fast and responsive as possible for the user. The next concept is state, and this refers to the data that controls the behavior and rendering of components. It allows components to be dynamic and interactive, and components can have their own internal state as well. So For the last part of this video, I just want to look at additional concepts, and one in particular, Redux. So continuing what I was saying about state, the state capabilities that are provided built into React are on an individual component basis. And what we can do is add a third-party library called Redux, which is a state management library that can be used in conjunction with React. And the differentiator with Redux is it allows us to provide a global state that is external to React components. So with that built-in state capability, this state is internal to components, and Redux allows us to have a global state. The benefits of this is it's useful for managing data shared across many components, as I mentioned, and it also better supports more complex state logic. That concludes my presentation on React. Thank you for watching.